welcome to episode 206 of Say Like a Champ. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Shrizzy. What's good, SLAC family?
What it do? We back in the building. Another day, another dollar.
Yep.
And I want to thank y'all. We got likes on the show already. That's what's up. We got some viewers checking in already. We got some comments. So we're going to go ahead and say what's up to Unc. He says hello from South Texas.
Yep.
Good evening, Pops.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. We got Grace in the building. Happy Tuesday. Anthony Wesson, a big salute to you, sir. We appreciate you. And also we got Moms in the building. Happy Tuesday. So thank you all for being here and for rocking with us. You know we appreciate it so much. We love to have comments during the show and have you guys be a part of our show and what we do each and every week. So we appreciate y'all. And keep the comments coming. Let us know how you're feeling out there. And we're going to let you know how we're feeling in here. Let's do a little check-in. Strizzy, what's good with you?
Not much, man. Just starting doing my thing. I got like 2 collaborations now. I got like companies sending me their products and wanted me to make videos with them. So, you know what I'm saying? Did one with this drinking game, you know what I'm saying, for people 21 and up, which I got to make another video because I was supposed to do 2 of them like 2 weeks apart or whatever. And then I got one. They sent me a kind of like a Ring camera, but different.
Okay.
In a sense. But I got to do their video too. They just sent it to me, so it's still in the box, all nice and pretty or whatever. So I'm getting a lot of emails lately just from like companies trying to like send me their stuff. So that's positive, you know what I mean? So
absolutely,
that's about it. You know, that's about it. What about you?
Man, I have to say that's super dope, dog, because you know that's part of kind of growing that following right and getting that attention as people will want you to speak on their stuff. So yeah, that is super gangster, man. Congratulations on that. Definitely don't take that. I don't take that lightly, man. That's a big step. Yeah. And once people see that you're doing that, man, that's going to give them the idea to do it more. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it was kind of crazy. It just kind of started happening. You know what I mean? And then like I'm working with there's another company too that reached out to me. I reached out to them, but they're like, I think they're like in India or something like that. It's like the timing.
Oh, dang. So yeah, they're always sleeping when they try to call you.
Yeah, exactly. So just trying to figure out like how that stuff happens, but seem like they're one of the ones that like want to use me for like a couple of different things. So they might be something that might just be like a nice little second source of income or whatever, but they might be one of the ones that might actually like really legit be able to help me out with it. So we'll see, make sure it's all legit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get played, but
right.
So far it's so good. I looked into them a little bit and they seem legit.
They can pay you, but you ain't paying them.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what's up. But it's crazy how the internet makes the world is such a small place though, man. You're out there doing big things. So for me, though, I did get a little special thing last week. I got to go check out this new place that's opening up actually today, this place, Chicken and Pickle. So if you guys have a chance, man, check out my YouTube video. Please check that out if you can. Share that out if you know people that like pickleball. It's a really cool little spot. And I definitely have to say, thank you to our brother Ramsey for getting the plug in and let me get hooked in with that. So that's what's up, man. He's the pickleball G out here. He plays all the time. So got me in.
I tuned into your video. I was cracking up. I was chilling in bed. I think it was like Sunday or Sunday. And, I had one of them, what's it called? One of the smart TVs, obviously, but it's like a Google TV essentially. So like it pops up with all my like YouTube notifications. And you were like the first thing that popped up when I turned my TV on that morning. So I was like, might as well check it out now. So I turned it on. And dog, your stuff's getting better and better, man. Every single time you post a new video, it's getting better and better. And
thank you, man.
It legit made me want some chicken and waffles like that morning. I went out searching for them and stuff like that. So it's great stuff, man. So likewise, man, I'm proud of you too, dog. Keep it moving.
Thank you. Yeah. We keep being consistent on everything and just pushing and just taking these opportunities. You never know where it might go, but we're definitely here to talk sports, so we'll get right to it. But I do want to jump back in this real quick comment section. I think we got a good gathering now. I want to welcome in Stephanie Washington. Welcome in.
Hello.
Unc is reminding us Pops is back. We need to behave. All right, yeah, we'll see. He'll be calling us out if we say anything too outlandish. Anthony Wesson, he's alluding to something. If we have time at the end, I think we're gonna have time. We're definitely gonna comment on the riverfront happenings for sure. Unc is saying you need a road manager, man. Yeah, pretty soon, dog. You need somebody with you.
Once it gets there, I'm gonna need somebody.
And then also Kelly, happy Tuesday. Thank you for being here with us as well, Kelly. Welcome to the show. Anthony West says they have a chicken and pickle close to his house. That's what's up.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
dope.
two in Texas, one in Kansas City. There's only like 6 or 7 across the nation though, so that's pretty gangster, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and pull up our graphics real quick. And this is another thing that we'll be touching on for sure. Let me get this right. What's going on here? There it is. There it is. Okay. Definitely one thing we'll be touching on in a few, but we'll go ahead and get into our first topic of the evening.
What's up next?
Oh, let's check it out, man, real quick.
Oh, tune to NFL Talk. Let's get it.
All right, NFL Talk. We have football back, and the Hall of Fame game kicked off the preseason last weekend. I got to check it out, man. I enjoyed it. Honestly, just being able to turn on the TV and see that crystal clear, HD football back on the screen. That's what's up. So that was cool. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the rookie out of UCLA, was doing his thing. He balled out a little bit. So that was definitely the highlight of the Hall of Fame game for me. But did you get a chance to check it out?
Yeah, I got to check it out a little bit. It's funny, man. It's the Hall of Fame game. You knew no actual real starters are gonna be playing the game, and I still put 25 down on the Browns. You know what I'm saying? So they came through for your boy. You know what I'm saying? They came through for me. Everybody's money was going on the Jets, and I had to fade the public. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of knew they was gonna lose. Like they're a little too hype right now. You know, everybody's thinking they're gonna do the absolute most this year with Aaron Rodgers. But I took the Browns, man. So.
Good call, man.
Careful betting on preseason if y'all bet on sports a little bit because it's not regular season, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
But yeah, I did check it out, man. I liked some things that I saw come from the Browns. You know, some of those guys trying to make the team and whatnot. But yeah, man, it was fun. It was fun. Started off real defensive too.
Yeah, most definitely. And then it kind of loosened up towards the end when some of those fringe guys got on the field a little bit more. But I like it, man. Yeah, it was definitely an exciting little comeback by the Browns.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. You got to be careful with the preseason betting only because, they might not try to win. You know what I'm saying? Or they might go for 2, or they might go for it when they kick a field goal and just to see different things. But yeah, definitely super tight. A couple free agent signings going on. Kareem Hunt is still probably the most sought after running back free agent right now.
Yeah,
he visited the Saints and had a good visit with the Saints, but apparently, right before he stepped on the practice field to do his tryout with the Saints, he got a call from the Vikings, I think it was, too. Or no, I'm sorry, not the Vikings, the Colts. My bad, the Colts, because they're having their issues with Jonathan Taylor. So maybe they're going to be a player in this thing. But the Saints also worked out Anthony Barr, and they're expected to sign him as well. So, yeah, nothing too crazy with that, though. And then there was a couple more I have on here that we'll get into. Teddy Bridgewater going to the Lions. What did you think of that? Anything?
I think Teddy Bridgewater is a really solid backup. Backup quarterback to have. He's been really injury prone lately, so maybe that's good for the Lions. To have him behind. What's dude's name? Yeah, Ryan. Jared Goff. Yeah, Jared Goff used to be at LA. So I think it's a good pickup for him. In regards to just having someone who's probably really cheap. You know what I'm saying, and have him backing up Goff because I don't think they really had anybody backing him last year. So, just in case he goes down for any reason, I think he's a solid backup. But, Lions expectations are real high this year. So let's see if, he can be available if Goff, knock on wood, goes down.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good move for them to solidify that because in past years, it's like if your number one goes down and you're the Lions, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Try somebody out, throw somebody out there. But this year, they're going to try to build off that success they had last year with Dan Campbell and the new coaching staff. So I agree. They gotta have a plan ready. Another guy, Trey Flowers, going back to the Patriots. He had a rough year last year. Missed most of the year with injury. So that's what's up there. But I'm just thinking. I mentioned the Patriots only too because I want to see what they're gonna do this year. You think they'll bounce back pretty well this year, or what do you think? Because they're in a tough division.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean they're definitely honestly in one of the toughest divisions. You know what I'm saying? Still, in my opinion, and I think it really depends on Bill. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of reins is he going to keep on Mac Jones? You know what I'm saying? Like, they went and got Juju. Juju's looking like he's going to be their kind of number one receiver guy, but I don't have Juju as an actual number one receiver. So,
Right.
It's going to be tough. You know, the defense is still going to be solid regardless if he's out there because of Bill Belichick. You know what I mean? But they got to get past this like Tom Brady thing, right? They got to learn to work with what they got, and they got to let a quarterback be a quarterback. And until then, I just don't think they're going to be successful in that division. It's just too packed.
Yeah, most definitely. The Lions, the Dolphins were really good last year.
Yeah,
the Bills obviously are going to come back being good. The Jets totally reloaded and are looking to make a run. So it's like that is a really tough division, and you can only win so many games running the ball like 60 times a game. You know what I'm saying? You got to throw the ball eventually. So
and they don't even have nobody at running back that I'm just like, oh, they got that. You know what I mean? Like
like Stevenson is a beast, but not like that, you know what I'm saying? Like just like he's still an every down back, but not like dynamic like that.
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
Really agree.
Let me get in these comments real quick before we dive into our last topic for NFL. Anthony Weston says, "Do you guys think they should have a Hall of Fame game as the Pro Bowl and just have that in Canton every year?" Oh, you know what? That would be kind of gangster. I think it would throw off their schedule for the inductees and stuff because they like to like induct them like in the summertime when people can travel there and go see it. So I think that might screw things up a little bit, but it would be kind of cool because then you have your Hall of Fame inductees and you have all the stars of the NFL like in one place. That part would be pretty gangster. But still, the Pro Bowl is kind of a mockery now, you know. So I don't know if that fits. But I do like the Hall of Fame game kind of in the summer as like that start of the season too. So
me too.
Let's see. Pop says Teddy is a solid pro. Major injury derailed his career. Yeah, it
really
sucks that he never got his chance. He's kind of like a Geno from last year. Like I always felt like if he would get that starting job one time, like he might just take off, you know, and run with it. But
and
never really
the right spot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be like the right spot too. Geno Smith, you know, he had a great season, but I also think that like where he landed, like it was just so perfect for him. Great coach, great system. It was just perfect, right? And I feel like Teddy needs that same thing to kind of like revamp or turn his career around.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Before it's too late, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Unk says he might go to a project near Paris, Texas, which is north of Dallas. If I go, I'll catch a Cowboys game. That would be dope. I definitely recommend checking out the stadium because it's really cool. And if you can do the tour, they let you go down on the field and everything like that. It's fun, and it's actually I was gonna say it's reasonably priced, but shoot, that was like 2015. So
who knows now?
Who knows what it is now? All right. Anthony Weston says, well, at least they have a real offensive coordinator now as far as the Patriots goes. That's definitely true. I think Bill O'Brien will help a lot. Last year, they were just like, they only had like 5 coaches in the building. Every other team has like 12, 25 coaches. I don't know how many coaches, but so many. And they had like 4 or 5 guys. And they're like, who wants to take the offense? Like somebody's got to do it. So
good point.
That's pretty crazy. Unk says, will Mayfield finally become a decent quarterback? No. I think his best days are behind him, if you're asking me. But he's finagled his way into another starting job. So, I mean, can't hate him for that, man.
He's got 2 really good receivers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like it's kind of like we were talking about with Tua last year. Like if you can't do it with these guys, like you'll never be able to do it at all. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you. I don't think so, but this is going to be his best shot.
Yeah, his best and hopefully his final shot. I'm just glad that the commercials are over with. You know what I'm saying? Right. Pop says no.
Nope. Exactly.
Anthony, I didn't think of the weather in Canton in February. Yeah, I think that would be a problem for sure. All right, the last thing I did want to mention is there's a little bit of talk out of camp going on about Eric Bieniemy, the new offensive coordinator for the Commanders. He's definitely coming into town trying to make an impression, but also he's always been known as kind of like a hard-nosed coach, a coach that will kind of get down on you and be direct and call you out if need be. Apparently, some of the players have gone to Ron Rivera privately and kind of, I don't know what to say, express their displeasure or complained or whatever. Some guys already from ex-Chiefs are coming out basically saying like, hey, take the coaching and get better. That guys are just soft. How do you feel on this one? And do you think this might spell trouble already for Bieniemy in his new career?
I actually kind of agree with some of the Texans, the Chiefs players. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? The Commanders have not been good for a really long time. Like, you guys have legitimately been trash, and now you have essentially an offensive coordinator who's been in the Super Bowl, last 3 years, you know what I'm saying? 4 years, something like that. Like, and and has 2 rings, I believe, you know what I mean? So like he's gonna bring, and I get it, like Ron Rivera is a very laid back coach. So I'm betting money his coaching staff is also really laid back. So, I probably get they're not used to having someone who's hard nosed like that, but you got to have at least one coach like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I feel like suck it up. You're men. You play at the highest level of football. You know what I mean? And do you want to continue being okay at your job, or do you want to be able to take that next step? And it's going to take somebody to hold you guys accountable. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, I'm as long as he's not, calling somebody out their name, or it's not racially, whatever. I'm like, suck that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Like my coach, like I've had my coach in high school in my face, grabbing my face mask because I did something wrong, and it's me. So he expected higher of me to be like, you don't do stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like literally like yelling at me, like in front of the entire, and I was like, you're right. You know what I'm saying? My bad. And then go out and do something spectacular in the next play. So suck that up. You know what I mean? Like, ain't you no grown man talking about he hurt my feelings.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I agree with that. I think that it is like a little bit of softness, and also, he can't change now, right? Like, okay, so this is his very first year on the job. They're like 2 weeks into like real camp. All of a sudden he's going to try to be somebody different. Like for him, I think you got to be the same person that you always were. Don't try to go overboard and do too much now. You know what I'm saying? Proving a point type of thing, but be who you were. It seems like this is already who he was. This is who they knew they were hiring. So, you can't change if you ruffle a little bit of feathers. But I will say, little caveat, little devil's advocate is like, there sometimes are different motivations for different people. So, one approach doesn't always work. But if that's the approach and what works for you, definitely go with that. But over time, you may have to evolve that or pull it back for some people as you get to know them. So
that's true too. Like as you get to know them and realize, like, okay, maybe that's not the best way to, like, that's a part of coaching too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a part of coaching too. So I do agree with that as well.
I think that might be why he's not a head coach yet, but he's been a coordinator. Like maybe that's when it comes to, because when you're a head coach, you got to do more politic and you got to do more balancing acts, and that kind of comes with that extra dose of leadership. So we'll see. But I think he'll do well. I think they'll shake things up. But it's like also he's got a quarterback that's not proven, so he definitely has a lot of work to do.
We got a bunch of areas that aren't proven. So you know what I mean? It's like y'all better get with it now. You know what I'm saying? You got 2 quarterbacks, 2 unproven quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying, who are fighting for the starting job. You got a receiver who's good, maybe even considered underrated, but like he still hasn't proven too much because he hasn't had a great quarterback in his short career. So they have a lot to prove this year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at Pop's comment right now, and he might be right. Like I just feel like when he going to the Commanders, I felt like it was not the best idea for him to do. Well, when we talked about this when it first happened, I wasn't a fan, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel it. I wasn't really either. I'm like, just stay and be with the Chiefs, but never can recall NFL players complaining about a coach like that. Very strange. I kind of think the players might be sensitive, but if their offense doesn't work, EB will never be a head coach. That's the thing. He's got a lot of pressure on him, so I get why he's trying to do it. He's like, I'm not going to go down because you guys are soft or whatever.
Exactly.
So, Anthony Weston says maybe what they need to weed out the guys and can't change the culture. Yeah. Most of the greats wanted to be coached hard. Unk says some players need a dose of reality, stop complaining, and play better. Yeah. I feel all that, and it's still like it's not like the 70s or 80s football. I'm sure, like I'm sure they're not like he's not doing anything too crazy, right?
Yeah.
So sure he's just calling them out. They don't like that. So.
Exactly.
All right. That's our NFL talk. We have basically 4 weeks until NFL starts. So over the next 4 weeks, we're gonna do a little northeast, southwest type of preview. And kind of talk about who we're kind of looking forward to seeing in each of those divisions in this new year and kind of do a new faces, new places thing. So that's what will be on the docket for the next 4 weeks. But it's exciting times right now. We're about to have football back. Secure the Bag will be back as well. Strizzy's already dropping betting tips on y'all now, preseason style. But Secure the Bag will be back. And also our Pick'em League will be back too on Yahoo. So make sure you join that. And every week, whoever wins will get a Super Bowl square for our big finale at the end of the year. So So that's what's up on that, and I think we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep it moving right now to our next topic. All right, NBA talk. We're gonna start off with the new highest paid average annual salary a year player. That didn't take long for Jaylen Brown. We always talk about this. As soon as somebody breaks a record, it's only a matter of time before it gets broken again. But now Anthony Davis, the question is he going to be healthy through this 3-year extension? But he's going to be making $62 million a year, $186 million over the next 3 years, which is crazy. And he does have an opt-out in that final and third year. Strizzy, what were your thoughts when you saw the news of the Lakers re-signing Anthony Davis?
One of my friends kind of put it really, really funny when he said that's a lot of money for Anthony Street Clothes Davis.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I love how good he is when he's healthy, right? Like when Anthony Davis is healthy and he's not worried about getting injured, like yeah, man, like he's a top 10 player in the league. You know what I'm saying? He really is. Like you look at what he did on the defensive side of the ball, not even the offense, the defensive side of the ball during the playoffs, during the Lakers run this past season, and you look at like, man, when this dude is healthy, like he could do anything. You know what I'm saying? But and the Denver Nuggets, they really ran through everybody. Nobody really stood a chance against them this year. But I just think that it's a big gamble. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like I feel like all contracts in the NBA are gambles. These guys make so much money. You know what I'm saying? And when they get injured, all that money's still guaranteed. But I feel like maybe they talked to like him and LeBron before they gave him the contract. You know what I'm saying? Because LeBron's still making a ton of money too. You know what I'm saying? And maybe this is LeBron's last contract with the Lakers or whatever. But I don't know. Good for him. Never want to speak negatively with somebody's money. Get your cash. Because at the end of the day, you're only going to be in the NBA for a couple more years anyway. But that's definitely a lot of money to go to somebody who spends a lot of time on the bench.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And
I think that's my biggest concern. Like as a Lakers fan, for sure, is like, is he going to be healthy? I don't necessarily think that they're like investing in a hope and a prayer. Like they're investing in something, but they might not get everything they want for that investment. I do think though it's a sign to him as well to say like, look, you're our future. Like we need, it's no longer like, because before it was always like they would do their deals, him and LeBron, it'd be the exact same number of years and they'd be like doing them in lockstep. Like now they're saying like, look, like regardless of what happens with him, you're our future. Like we need you to be the guy for us. And like you said, when he's healthy, he can be dominant. He averaged 25 points, 2 blocks, last year. Like if he can do that and he can play 80% of the games, like that's legit,
Right.
So I am excited for it. And then I wanted to show this little breakdown of his contract, though. They're saying about the taxes in LA. This was on X, that app you might have formerly known as Twitter. But so he got the richest annual extension, but the taxes on his $62 million a year, basically this little breakdown shows that the net income is $24 million after his agents, his escrow fees, his federal tax, all that different stuff. That's insane, man. Like that's crazy.
That's insane. That's more than half. That's more than half. You know what I'm saying? Like
like that's almost like a third. Like I mean,
seriously,
that's crazy. The taxes and stuff like that. But it's like, still, I mean, I'll take it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like we always hear the number of like we always hear that number like 62 million, and we're thinking, dang. But it's like, it's kind of like a little dose of reality there.
Yeah. After it's said and done, this man's losing half of that salary in taxes and stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. August and Miles say hi. What's up, boys? Appreciate y'all tuning in. Definitely shout out to the nephews. Anthony Weston says AD, the bubble AD is definitely worth it. I feel that. But yeah, is he going to be like that same player? Who knows? But I feel like now he's got his grown man like fully like this is it. Like it's going to be now or never kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, Unk says just because the player is eligible for an extension or a supermax doesn't mean they necessarily deserve it. Example, Anthony Davis. Pop says agree, a big financially risk for the Lakers. feel like they had to in the event that LeBron leaves. And yeah, that's kind of they're like trying to secure their future. Alex says Clippers are slow to give Kawhi or Paul George new money. Load management works against them. I definitely think so. Like they banked out. But yeah, I like this stat too. Anthony Weston says since 2019 he's played more games than Steph Curry, PG-13, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. That's pretty cool to see that, and it's very interesting. None of those guys have quite the same knock on them as Anthony. Well, I guess Kawhi does for sure.
Yeah, Kawhi definitely does. I know Steph missed that whole season.
Because when he broke his hand, right?
Yeah. He was like whole season. That makes sense. PG and Kawhi Leonard, definitely. They just be missing games and miss games sometimes.
Yeah.
So, like, they miss games to miss games, and then they get injured and then miss games. So, like, they're idiots in my opinion. Like, I don't think people understand that when you take that much time away from a sport like that, it actually works against you. It doesn't work in your favor.
Right.
You can't just
Darrell Reeves. Or not Darrell Reeves. The Jets running back. What's his name? Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't just pick up. Like, your body needs to be consistent in those things. You start taking time off, it's just not. Yeah, nothing good comes from it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you can play. You need to play. Better for you.
All right. The FIBA World Cup. The Team USA is tuning up. They played Puerto Rico last night and smashed them. I think it was 117. No, what was the score? I don't know. They did them dirty though. 117 to 72 or something like that. This is still the exhibitions. It actually doesn't start till August 24th, but I kind of like seeing the crew out there together, the young crew.
Yeah.
I think that they'll do pretty well, and I'm definitely rooting for my guy Anthony Edwards to be like the star for them. So I'll be watching that. I'll be checking that out. But this is an interesting thing I heard, and I don't know if you heard this or not, but apparently Trae Young was on a show earlier this week, and I think Gilbert Arenas was with him, and Gilbert Arenas was basically like saying that like Trae Young wanted to be on Team USA this year, but that Nike blocked him from being on the squad, that they were preferring or giving preferential treatment to like players that are sponsored with Nike. Apparently there's like 6 Nike players, there's like 3 Adidas players, and then there's like everybody else is like some other company. What do you think about that, man? Because like Trae Young didn't confirm it, but he just said like I did want to play for Team USA. Like I was interested. I want to play if they want me. That's crazy to me.
One, I'd say if I'm Team USA, I'm kind of glad that he's not. Trae, I mean, it's weird because like he averages a good amount of assists, but he also takes a lot of dumb shots, and he takes a lot of selfish shots. And if this team, like this USA team, is going to win the FIBA championships, it's going to be as a collective. You know what I'm saying? Like, Anthony Edwards. Like I saw the scrimmage game, right? The Team USA white, Team USA blue, and what's short dude's name out of New York? Yeah. He was hooping. Like I think actually offensively, like it might even go through him when it comes to like who's gonna be the lead scorer on this team. But when you're watching the game against Puerto Rico, they look nice defensively. Like they were really good grabbing balls, passing lanes, things of that nature. A ton of fast break points. You know what I'm saying? A ton of fast break points. So, they definitely look better than I thought they were gonna look. It is Puerto Rico, and it is an exhibition game. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to put too much into it. It's an asterisk. Yeah, they got some tough teams ahead of them. France is going to be tough. Slovenia is going to be tough. You know what I mean? Like France is probably Australia. Yeah, exactly. Australia too. Like some of those teams are actually going to be really difficult to play. Yeah. But I just don't think the team they have right now. I don't think Trae fits. I don't think he fits.
Okay, that's very interesting. Because I appreciate you breaking it down a little bit more. I mean, when I looked at it, when I thought about it, I'm like, Trae Young is better than anybody on the roster. Like, I agree. So I get what you're saying, though, from a standpoint of like, if they're trying to build a team, though, maybe that puzzle piece doesn't fit this fame. So I appreciate that breakdown and kind of that perspective on it. To me, I was just like, that's weird, though. Like, I don't get the Nike shoe thing because it's like,
me neither.
Trae is Adidas, I believe. But it's like, it's not like there's nobody Adidas. It's not like they completely blocked it,
Yeah.
But that has come into play in the past, like all the way back to Michael Jordan days, like when they were pissed that Reebok had the contract for the USA jerseys and the USA apparel and not Nike. So I get that some of that goes on, but I'm like, I don't know how much power Nike would really have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I really feel like at the end of the day, the coaches pick, you know, I mean, who they want to go, and
Right, like some Nike executives not calling up Steve Kerr, like, you can't put him on the team. Like, you think that
yeah,
Steve Kerr's gonna listen to that? He's like, no.
yeah, exactly. Like, no way. I just think the team that they picked, I think, and you're right. I think Trae Young, from a standpoint of like, you know, all when it comes to like all-star status or, you know, whatever it may be, I think he is probably better than everyone on that team. But I just think the team that they have, it fits. They have sharpshooters, they have defensive players, they've got their kind of their bigger scorers, right? And Ant Edwards and Brunson. Mikal Bridges has been on fire
Yeah,
too.
he can hoop too.
Yeah, he's been hooping. So, you know, I think they got their three primary scorers, a lot of defensive guys, and their sharpshooters. And I think Trae I just don't think he fits.
Gotcha.
Trae is the guy who's like, I need the ball in my hands all the time. You know,
everything goes through me.
Yeah, everything's going to go through me. And I think that if they have that type of player for that team, it's just not going to end well. You know, Slovenia can have that. You know what I mean? If
because they need that, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? They're going to need that from Luka. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But this USA team now, they're definitely, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it collectively as a group.
Gotcha. Yeah, Unc says he needs to improve his decision making.
Yeah.
Anthony West's shout out to Austin Reeves.
Yeah,
the crowd went crazy when he checked in the game, and he was pretty nice too. He was hooping.
Yeah.
So you know he's definitely on the come up. Pop says Brunson's been the best player so far. He was picked ahead of Trae. Appears rightfully so.
Yeah.
All right. See, I guess I was in the right headspace because when I read that I was like, dang, what? Like I don't know, but I like it. I like it. Let's see. Over here, there was one other thing I wanted to jump to. Oh, Unc says this about the load management. These guys don't appreciate the struggles of an average fan, a fan that endures hardship just to enjoy the game, just have these top guys not show up to play. Yeah. And I feel that wholeheartedly. Like, that's one of the things I really didn't like about baseball, and it's starting to become harder about basketball too, where it's like you have those tickets for months. You know what I'm saying? You're waiting for that day. That day is circled on the calendar, and you're waiting to see, you know, your stars or you know, this one player that you might never see, and you show up to the game and they're out that day. It's like that's lame, you know, and it's expensive. It's not cheap. And there's only so many opportunities we get to see some of these people, so it is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, man. I went to the Suns Heat game, not last season, but the season prior, and you know, I would have loved to see Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler Hero play all together, but I only got to see Tyler Hero. He put up like 30 something on him, and they won that game. You know,
but they were coming off of a back-to-back because they just played the Clippers the night before or something.
Yeah,
like that, right?
Exactly. So I didn't get to see Jimmy or Bam. Like, I just would have been so much nicer to see, you know, all those guys play. Like, even being a, you know, good, nice Tyler Hero fan, like, you know, I just, you know, come on, like Jimmy Butler and Bam, I missed both of them at that game. I still haven't seen them play live yet. So that kind of sucked, man. And nothing was wrong with them. They just sat that game out. I think the Phoenix Suns were missing some guys too. So I think they felt like
this is the right spot.
Yeah, we might be able to do this without them, and they did, but it sucked, you know.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Don't let tickets a discount either. Ticket prices don't go down when them guys sell
right,
out.
Exactly. They're not like, we only brought, you know, 60% of our stars. So all right, definitely got to give a shout out to the Basketball Hall of Fame inductees that are going in this weekend. It's crazy though that the Hall of Fame inductions for the, you know, for football, and then right after it is for basketball. But again, it's like that summer type of thing. This is a star-studded 6 right here.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. Like this is solid. Like there's no whammies on this board at all.
None.
But you know, we had a chance earlier when they were all announced to kind of, you know, to give our flowers. But I just want you. I want to give you a chance, you know, like a 30-second message to Dwayne Wade, because we know he's going to see this. We're going to blow this up on the internet. What do you got to say to Dwayne Wade? Because I know that's your boy.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Congratulations. My favorite player of all time, right? Like, I get it. He's not Michael Jordan. He's not Kobe. Like, no one's going to consider him the GOAT, but I've modeled my game growing up after him. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny. Like, a lot of people gave me the same nickname that he had without even knowing that he was my favorite player. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, congrats to Dwayne Wade, man. He's definitely earned it. Still one of the highest PERs in playoff history back in 2006 when he won his first championship and Finals MVP with Shaq. And you know, people all the time talk about how, you know, Dwayne Wade never won an MVP, but I'm like, I'd prefer a Finals MVP all day. So you know, shout out to him, man, my boy. Congratulations. in my opinion, the third best shooting guard in the history of the NBA. So shout out to my boy D-Wade.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And we sipping on the wine too this weekend for you, Dwayne.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's what's up. All right, we're gonna shut down basketball right there. Let me see. Actually, we'll get to let me see if there's any other comments. Anthony West says Jeff Teague, James Harden is better than Dwayne Wade. Oh well, he's wrong.
Yeah, where's Jeff Teague at right now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's just about it though. But I appreciate y'all and jumping in on the comments on basketball. We're gonna keep this thing moving. Only a few more, like nothing too crazy, but definitely got a comment on this one too. This ended up being the fight of the weekend. We got Ramirez versus Anderson in a little bit of a scuffle, but Tim Anderson was suspended 6 games. Jose Ramirez was suspended 3 games for their part in the scuffle. Benches clearing brawl after like a hard tag on the slide from Anderson. The crazy thing is though, Anderson got up like looking like he wanted to throw blows, like he initiated the fight. Ends up getting caught with a little counter and going down off balance. What did you think of the fight and just like then the like little social media virality of it?
I think Anderson blew it way out of proportion. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even like Ramirez was really blocking the plate. Like he was waiting for the ball. He had his legs wide open. He knew he was gonna slide. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he blew it up a little more than what it needed to be. And then Ramirez, knocked the Sonic coins out, old boy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it was unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't see the suspensions, but I'm actually glad that Anderson got more games than Ramirez because even though he's the one who got knocked out or at least knocked down and dazed, I feel like he started it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm kind of glad that they reviewed it, looked at it, and was like, I know you took the brunt of it, but it's kind of your fault. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, so.
Exactly.
I feel like if it wasn't for the knockout, I feel like Ramirez didn't really even deserve anything, in my opinion. But he did kind of gave him one. You know what I'm saying? So they got to do something. But yeah, man, I don't know. It was crazy though. It was nuts. I just didn't think there was enough there for that to happen. Like,
yeah, for sure. It shouldn't have escalated into what it was. Apparently, there is some bad blood between them, but also kind of like Pop says Ramirez landed one good punch. Anderson is such a jerk. And I think that's the thing is like Anderson over the past couple of years has been gaining like a very negative reputation. And a lot of guys already kind of don't like the way his arrogance, the way he plays the game, certain things about that. They don't feel like he respects the game. So I feel like anything that happens with him involved, like it's taken a little bit, taken a little bit differently or whatever. People already don't like him. And but Stephanie Washington says, LOL, not the fight of the weekend. All right, maybe not. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it was pretty cool, though. It's funny, though, that, like, baseball suspended both these guys, and I get it. You have to do that. But honestly, low-key, if I'm the commissioner, I'm sending them each a little bonus on the sideline because this is what baseball needs. You know what I'm saying? Like, more excitement, more passion for the game. I know I'm not really trying to, like, totally endorse fighting. I know, like, violence is not right. I'm not saying that. Yeah. But I'm also saying, hockey lets them fight. Like hockey is like, okay, y'all want to duke it out? We'll let you go a couple. Get that off your chest, Yeah. And maybe in baseball, a couple times if the umps is like, yo, they're too much chirping back and forth, or a pitcher keeps throwing at a player.
Yep.
Go handle that. And maybe it's a little bit more exciting for the game. So
handle your business.
Yeah, exactly. Go handle that. Do that squabble, and then you can get over it and move on.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Pop says Anderson has bad blood with everyone. Anthony West says, Derek got a better punch on. Oh, yeah, that was a dope one. But also because the way he caught him and like his helmet and his glasses flew off and stuff, like that was a gangster one for sure. I almost forgot about that one. Ramirez should have called him Jackie for sure. Couldn't have happened to a better team. I absolutely hate the White Sox.
Right.
Yeah, I feel it. So it's pretty funny, but we definitely had to talk about that one. Let's jump to this one since Stephanie wants to talk about. I think this is what Stephanie's alluding to. We got the Jake Paul and Nate Diaz fight this weekend. Did you watch the fight? Did you check it out?
No, I didn't watch it. I'm not a big Nate Diaz fan at all, and I'm not a Jake Paul fan at all either. So I caught all the highlights of it, So I watched kind of like the Cliff Notes, So I got the summary fight version of it. But it just, Nate Diaz just continues to fight for money. You know what I'm saying? He's not out here actually trying to do anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I didn't watch it. I knew what this fight was going to be.
Yeah, I feel it. I was the same way. I definitely wasn't gonna pay for it, and I figured like social media would have us caught up right away, right? Yeah, we would know the outcome or how it was going. I do think that like I gotta give it to Jake Paul though for continuing to drum interest and continuing to select his opponents just right enough to where there's that history, there's that attention, there's some kind of a fan base that's willing to go see it because they did another great promotion. Yeah. So I can't lie, like I respect that part of it. Yeah. They might not have gotten my money, but they're getting to the money, And it's funny, you can always see right after the fight what the real story was. Nate Diaz, talking, bringing all this hype, and there's bad blood and ready for war and all this stuff. As soon as the fight's over, man, he's over there hugging Paul, thanking him, like, all right, we did it, Yeah. Like, not worrying about the fact that he basically just got beat down for all rounds and dropped even early in the fight. So, so that was pretty interesting one. Oh, Stephanie was watching she was talking about another one. Yes, we'll talk about that one too. Okay, we'll talk about that one too. But she said she didn't watch it. Anthony says Jake is going to need to fight an actual boxer at this point. I think he's going to have to. Yeah.
The only one he's actually fought is the one he lost to.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll see if they can actually make that happen. And Pops is talking about as far as Crawford. He didn't get to comment on Crawford last week, but so happy that Crawford got the big stage and payday. He showed the great champion he is. Sorry, Jerry Jones. Yeah, because Jerry Jones was going for Spence. But I think that was tight. Unk says, why have these Paul brothers become so popular?
They've been popular. They've been, they got involved with social media when, if you wanted to be a content creator, they got them in the right time. They do have a really good just following, and that's how Jake Paul continues to sell these fights like crazy. You know what I mean? Like his following is, he used to be a Disney Channel kid, right? So all the kids that used to watch him on Disney Channel are now adults as well as he is, and they're super fans of his. And there's millions of them, and they're going to continue paying for his fights. They're not going to stream them; they're going to pay for them. So he's going to continue making money. Like you said, I respect the how he gets these fights done. So I respect that whole aspect of it. I think I'm learning now he doesn't actually care about being a respected boxer. You know what I'm saying? Like he really don't care. At this point, it really is about making money because I think he's trying to fight Jorge Masvidal next. Don't know if it'll happen, but obviously it's another UFC guy who's officially retired. You know what I'm saying? But not a real boxer. Like Jake Paul does not want to go in there and start, he don't want to drop some weight to fight some dude like Crawford. Like he don't want to fight some dude that will literally.
He don't even want to fight an amateur boxer. Like he don't want to fight an actual boxer that gets paid from boxing.
Like even Tommy Fury hasn't fought and who knows how long. You know what I'm saying? Like that was his biggest test and he lost that one. You know what I'm saying? In decision. It wasn't even like he got knocked out or anything. So it's still a decision. Yeah, man, we'll see. I see Anthony says, Streezy, how about you go fight Jake and influencer? I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, let's make it happen, man.
You know what I'm saying? For money and everything. Like I'm gonna just start talking mess. Like let me get paid. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's make it happen.
And I'm not signing no type of contracts either. Like, nah, fam, we going into the box for real. I'm not going down like that. Like,
no, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. All right, a couple more topics. I wanted to talk about the U.S. women's national team crashing out of the World Cup. We knew they were on shaky ground. We had a feeling that this might not be their year. They're used to dominating, but in the first stage of the knockout round goes down in penalties. Just bad news all over it, man. But we'll see. A lot of people are saying that some of the off the field things that they were so invested in have kind of created too much noise, I guess, since from the last World Cup to this one. I really don't put the two together. I just think it was the timing and the fact that they went with a really young squad. I still don't have any problem with them trying to get their pays. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just my opinion on that. Yep. But I did want to see them do better because that's our squad, man. Our men's team, they're getting a little bit better, but they don't really hold it down like that. So
yeah, exactly. Back-to-back World Cup champions for our girls, and we definitely. I know they expected more. You know what I'm saying? Right. I think they are getting a lot younger. We're seeing a lot of the players that we've been watching for a long time. Like Julie Ertz, Megan Rapinoe. Like so, I'm not sure if
like Alex Morgan did.
Yeah, Alex Morgan. I don't think Morgan said whether or not she's going to come back or if this is going to be her last time. But I know Rapinoe and Julie Ertz said that this is their last time they're done. And those are the girls that have been on those back-to-back championships and been going on for a while. So the team's definitely going to be younger going forward. That's for sure. So I know it's in good hands, but hopefully you learn more from your losses than you do your wins. So hopefully they 2027 or whatever the next time this happens or whatever.
True. Yeah, it'll be a while.
Yeah,
but they'll get the Olympics in a couple of years, so they'll get to go back to the world stage. So
that's true. So hopefully they learn from this and be able to do it. But I think everybody's expectations for them were higher, fans and themselves. So it was disappointing to see them go out already. You know what I mean? And in penalty kicks. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's rough.
That is rough. Alex says, how can you ask for more money if you continue to have difficulty generating revenue? I mean, it never hurts to ask, right? But also, to be fair, the women's team has generated more revenue than the men's team. If we're talking this specific category,
correct,
they have been the more successful one. Anthony West is talking about, speaking of soccer, I was trying to go for Messi this past Sunday, but ticket prices soared to $27K. Yeah, man. Yeah. Anthony, you're going to have to go check him out at a different time. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to catch him at a different time, or maybe if he really retires and plays in the semi-pro game or something like that, But yeah, that's too crazy. But speaking of international soccer, I do want to shout out to my boys Arsenal. Yeah. They started off this is kind of a preseason match. They're in a win-win situation, but the Community Shield is dope. It goes between the first and second place EPL teams from last year, and so they did beat Man City in a shootout this weekend. But like I said, it's win-win because, if you win, it's awesome and you get a trophy. If you lose, it was only really preseason. So, but, we're not fooling ourselves. Man City, the team that they beat, is the reigning champs, and they are very dominant in the soccer scene. So I think it'll be a good year, though. I'm excited to see if my boys can kind of come back to that stage.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk real quick about the Pac-12, and we're basically going to put our blessings on him, and we're going to say rest in peace to the Pac-12 and break down the events that have gone on over the past few months that have led basically to this, to the situation they're in now. And then, Strizzy, I want to ask you what you think is going to happen next, but I want to go through this breakdown real quick. I just thought it was fun. I messed around with this because I was like, I want to put this visual out there so we can see exactly what's happened. But really, it started with the Big Ten, and they courted USC and UCLA. They decided to go as a pair to the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. So the Pac-12 went from 12 down to 10, and they were trying to get their bigger revenue share by going to the Big Ten and create a bigger market for themselves. And also, partly sneakily, they were trying to kind of leave the Pac-12 and still take their recruits with them. They didn't want any other Pac-12 teams coming to the Big Ten. So then the Big 12 stepped in. They started doing some exploratory talks. They talked to Coach Prime, and Prime is all about the money, man, in the bigger stage. So Colorado stepped out, and they made their move to go to the Big 12. All the while, the Pac-12 was negotiating the next football deal for these teams that will be starting after this upcoming season. And, more and more is coming out about, the Pac-12 is dealing with Apple and all this other stuff, and that the deal is not that great. And, these SEC teams are making $40 million a year, and they're not going to make anywhere near that. And they're going to be at a disadvantage in NIL. So as more and more started happening, Colorado was like, all right, we're out. We're going to go ahead and make this move happen. And the Pac-10 that was left was thinking they were going to be stable, and they were going to just try to maybe get another deal, but maybe a little bit less since they didn't have some of their big players. Well, the Big 12 kept recruiting, and they wanted to bring over U of A because they wanted to make it even. And so U of A is like, all right, cool, we're down. We'll go ahead and skip, because meanwhile, there's no word coming from the Pac-12 on what their revenue is going to be like. Well, then the Arizona commission of their school stepped in and was like, we want ASU and U of A to be together. They
Yeah.
should stick together. This is a pairing. This is a rivalry. So here comes ASU. They're in Big 12's like, we'll take ASU and we'll take Utah so we can stay even. So we
True.
don't have an uneven amount of teams. And Utah is basically like one of the better players. Like they won the Pac-12 last year.
Yep.
So then now we got the next step is Oregon and Washington. They're like, dang, we're not going to be left over here with these part of the Pac-6. You know?
I know.
Because every time a team leaves, the money keeps going down. The money keeps going down. So the Big Ten opened up their exploratory talks, and in less than 48 hours, they decided they're going to take Oregon and Washington, which were the best and the most dominant schools, and kind of in a similar region. Because again, they're trying to pair these teams together so they have like a traveling buddy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So at this point, the Pac-12 has 4 teams left, and the latest news is that the ACC is getting involved. And even though this makes no sense because the ACC is literally the Atlantic coast, they are talking to Cal and Stanford, and it seems as if the next move is going to be Cal and Stanford joining the ACC, leaving the Pac-12 with Oregon State and Washington State, 2 teams that have their own history, but 2 teams that aren't, one of these teams on the right-hand side anymore.
No.
I think that I don't know what's going to happen here. I think that the Pac-12 brand still has value, or still did up until last week. So maybe they go out and try to grab a bunch of teams like a Boise State, like whoever, I don't know, whoever that they can grab, like a Colorado State, and try to build it back up and use the Pac-12 name. But what I think might happen, though, would be kind of sneaky is the Big West and the Pac-12 do some kind of a merger where they bring in basically that whole league and create like a different, like a Big West or something, or a Pac West.
That'd be the smartest move to do, in my opinion. I think.
Yeah.
Like I said, try to get Boise State's always kind of. I mean, I know they moved from the WAC a while ago. You know what I'm saying? But this would be even bigger division than they're in right now. I mean, it's kind of,
and they're good.
It's falling apart. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like them, and I don't want to say Hawaii because like I remember like in the WAC it was always like Boise and Hawaii, right? They were always going at each other. Right. Literally, like whoever had the one loss usually came from one of them. You know what I'm saying? When they played each other. Yeah. So Hawaii have the same team that they were all those years ago, but like you said, I think that's probably the bigger move. Some type of like combination and maybe create at least like the Big West or something like that. You know what I mean? Probably the best idea because like there's not much you can really do right now. I know ACC hasn't acquired Cal and Stanford yet, but if they do, what are you going to do with a 2-team? You know what I'm saying? Division, like it can't work. It can't work.
Like we'll just alternate. We'll show up at your place this week. You come to our place next week. Back and forth. Like what?
Yeah, ain't no way. So. Yeah, I don't know, man, but it is kind of crazy. The shakeup has definitely been nuts. I really do like though how like SC, USC, and UCLA went over together. They're never playing each other, and it's going to be kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Next season or whatever it is when these teams move over.
Yeah, exactly. This upcoming season will be the last season basically of the Pac-12 as we know it. It will be kind of the farewell tour, if you will. And I think it is wild. I think things are happening fast, but I think definitely, and we said it right when the NIL thing really opened up. We were like, look, like college football will not be the same. Like it is no longer the same as it was. The tradition, the history, it's just that. It's history. Like it is in the past now because it's all about the money. It's all about generating that revenue. And now that they have to pay the players, colleges are greedy. They still want their same cut. So now they're like, we got to make even more money because we got to actually cut in the players now.
Yeah, exactly.
When before they were just rolling in the dough, and not worrying about that part of it. Now, they have to stay competitive. They have to bring the money behind it. And it's all about these TV revenue deals. And like, I think you're going to end up with literally like 3 or 4 giant conferences for the high level, for the top 50, basically. Of college football, and it kind of sucks. It's kind of sad, to be honest, because it also shows like, these organizations, right, that ran things, they had it sweet before. Like the Pac-12, whoever runs the Pac-12, like 4 years ago, like they weren't doing nothing, like, and they weren't tripping, like they were literally just cashing checks, and they don't really do that much except for like organize a few things, set the schedule, like. When it comes down to it, like Oregon State and Washington State, or even Cal and Stanford that are still there, it's like they're looking at them like, you guys left us out to dry. Like, you didn't make those deals that you were supposed to. You didn't put the structure in place. There's no guarantees that people are just going to sit around and accept that. Yep. And now, they have options. And with these super divisions, they were like, yo, we out, But it is kind of sad that you could see basically like something that has like a long honored tradition basically just dissolve within a matter of like
just gone.
Like they out of there. So it is pretty crazy. Anthony says Oregon and Washington State will mess with the Mountain West. ACC is talking about Stanford and Cal. Yeah, that's so weird. So it'd be like Atlantic Coast, but they're going to be on the Pacific Coast. Like that just doesn't. It's just so weird.
That's going to be so hard for them. You know what I mean?
Like the travel.
Exactly. The travel is going to be so difficult.
And not to mention that these are for all sports. So it's not just the football money. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, the football is what everybody thinks of, and that's what is, like, out front. But it's like, dang, if you're on the swimming team, if you're on the tennis team, and you play in San Francisco, and now you have to go to Virginia for, like, a weekend tournament or whatever, like, that's just so crazy. But it's not about that, the academics. It's about the money. It's pretty crazy, though. Mom says, I remember how prestigious it was when ASU and U of A joined the Pac-10. Yeah, most definitely. Like, that was a big step up for them. And now they out. Like, but the Big 12 is cool too, though. So, like, I get it from their standpoint. They're like, oh man, but it's just different, And especially when you're like literally.
It's gonna be kind of like how the SEC is split up into different, SEC, South, SEC, what, like it's gonna be kind of like that, as the divisions get bigger and bigger. And I think part of it too is it's going to make the playoffs more interesting, because the playoffs now they're going to be expanded. You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot more than just 6 teams or whatever, or 4 teams. I'm bad, 4 teams going in. You know what I mean? True. So I think that not tournament, but that bracket, that the road to the championship is going to make things a lot more interesting. Because like you said, now it's going to be basically like three divisions, right? It's definitely going to be these guys in the SEC, and wins are going to matter, I think, so much. I don't know more, because more players are going to be getting in, but like it's definitely going to change things. And I think that's kind of why they're also, I think that plays a big role too into like why they're moving out of these conferences. Like, you got to be able to play better schools, you know what I mean? Because when you're not playing, like, SEC can lose a game and still be in contention for a championship, right?
Right.
A lot of other schools can't. They have to go undefeated. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you're in a stronger division, where you're more likely to lose a game or two, it does make it easier for you to get those higher seedings or to be, eligible for bigger bowl games. You know what I mean? So I think that plays a role in it as well.
Most definitely. Like, it's crazy though that we had the Power 5, and it's funny you mentioned the playoffs, because I am interested in what happens with that, because the Pac-12 technically has like an automatic qualifier as the Pac-12 champion to get into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Oregon State wants to stay, Maybe they're like, hey, grab us a couple teams and we'll just be the champs, every year, and get into the playoff every year. But I wonder if like they could lose their automatic bid based on like the strength of their conference or the perceived strength of their conference. Who knows? Because it seems like everything's out the window. Like, they're just going to keep making this thing up as they go. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Anthony West says, yeah, I have an NFC and AFC with the power schools.
Right.
That's almost, it's almost kind of what it's like already. Pop says Big 12 is going to be really good after the SEC, who is second now. Crazy change, all about the money. Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. I think it is the Big 12.
I think it is too.
But the crazy thing is, like, they're losing Oklahoma and Texas too. So like, I keep factoring them in. So
true.
I don't know. Actually, it's probably the Big 10, because they got Ohio State, Michigan, USC. Like, that's pretty gangster.
Yeah, you're right. You forgot they don't have Texas and Oklahoma anymore. So it probably is. USC was really good last year. I think they had a loss or whatever. I think, yeah. So I'm Ohio State, Michigan, like you just mentioned.
Dang, Mom says SEC and Big 10 have 16 of the top 20 preseason with the dogs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So those are definitely the big divisions. But yeah, I definitely wanted to break that thing down though, and do the visual so we could kind of see like how that changes and how lonely Oregon State and Washington State are. But we'll see. I think they'll have to figure it out. But they're definitely not going to be signing any deals for the TV revenue. You know what I'm saying? The TV rights like anytime soon. Like,
Yeah.
So that'll be crazy. Kelly is saying, did you say this goes into effect? So this is going to go into effect basically after next year. This upcoming year is like the last year where all these teams are signed up, but then UCLA and USC are going after this year for sure. Colorado, U of A, all the Big 12s are after this year for sure, because that's when Texas and Oklahoma are joining the SEC. Cal and Stanford is still kind of proposed, so I should have had an asterisk on that, but we'll see. I have a feeling that announcement is going to happen before we meet again. So that's what's up. I think we hit all of our topics. I definitely want to give a quick shout out to our brother Mad Marcus. You know, he's lost some people very close to him, and I know he's a very private person. But one thing we want to make sure he knows and never forgets is how much we love him, we care for him, and we're here for him. So we might not see him for a little bit, but he's off handling bigger and more important things for sure. But just want to shout out to him and let him know that we are with him always. And we appreciate him. And even if he's not here, he's always a big part of what we do, and he's really set us up to be successful and to have our show. So we love you, my Marcus. We're with you for sure.
Absolutely.
The last thing we could touch on real quick, and I kind of wanted to get into this, but I mean it's just too much to really unpack, and we're already at time, which is really cool. But real quick, Stephanie Washington was saying that the fight of the weekend was the Alabama Riverfront fight. And I don't know, Strizzy, you want to give your quick take on the fight?
Yeah, man. This was one of the greatest events in African American history. You know what I'm saying? It was a good time for our brothers and sisters to come together when we needed it the most. You know what I'm saying? It started off with a hat flip. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bobby Schmurder.
Oh man,
I've been loving every minute of it. I already have a video idea of it. I'm supposed to get with my boy this weekend and make a video of it. So be on the lookout for it because it's about to be hilarious. But man, like that's a situation of like, you know, F around and find out. You know what I'm saying? Everything, you know, shit was sweet until it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's crazy.
Man, and the funny thing about it too, because like people always talk about like, oh, well, what did he do to cause it? But like, there's another video. I don't know if you've seen it. It's essentially the ramp up video. So the people who were on the boat that needed to dock were actually recording prior to everything happening.
Yeah. I
see
like
a legit video
of
the security guard just trying to do his job. Like apparently he told them to move their boat before they came back to redock. They still ain't listen. They were in his face, and then they started it, and then it just turned into something that. But like, I mean, man, when I tell you I was having like the time of my life laughing this weekend, some dude did a video and he started playing the Stone Cold Steve Austin music when dude came out with the chair. Bro,
oh my gosh.
Fell out, dog. Like I've been having a solid good laugh at this. And it happened on Lily's birthday on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So like it's just another, another time in African American. I was just so proud of us. You know what I'm saying? That we didn't just sit around and just have our cameras out watching this dude get beat up by a bunch of white dudes, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
man, it was great.
It was crazy. It was wild all around. And it's funny though, I will say that some people were putting the try that in a small town like video or the music behind it. I don't know if you know the controversy with that, but that was pretty funny to me. That's a different take on it too. But the crazy thing is like in the pre-video, I guess that boat that they were docked in their way or whatever for that like tour boat.
Yeah,
they were there for like 45 minutes waiting. And that guy, they had actually went and took a smaller boat and like got him and taken him to the dock so that he could try to find those people and get them to move their boat. Yeah. So it definitely wasn't some situation where like, they were just totally being like out of line as far as like parking in the wrong way and then still not even wanting to move out of the way. So that was pretty crazy. Yeah. Ugg says it seems like fights occur on boat docks in Alabama a bit too often. That's the one thing, like, man, I'm not trying to get dropped into the water, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like they definitely put a couple people in that bitch too.
I know. That was crazy. Anthony Weston said as soon as that hat flipped, I think, and that's the thing. I think that was like the signal of him being like, I'm no longer working on the job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he took his like company hat off. He's like, okay, now it's on. But yeah, that was kind of crazy though. Even one of the dudes that was on the boat that couldn't dock, jumping into the water to swim over there to help. Yeah, that's just but yeah, it's just the only thing though I will say, like, kind of contrary is like, I just don't like that these things get so much attention now, right?
Yeah.
And like now they're having a press conference about it and all this other stuff where it's like, if things don't get caught on tape, or like, it just makes me think of all the things that have happened in the past that we don't know about, you know what I'm saying? Or that don't get this type of like attention or this type of, you know, exposure. So it is like, it's just the tip of the iceberg, but we're seeing more and more crazy stuff like that. But that one, that was definitely some comedy. So well, all right, we're gonna go ahead and shut it down right there. We appreciate all of our slackers and your guys' input and feedback. And Kelly mentions, so she's right on this. NFL comes back and we get more time together for sure. You know, it only took one preseason game, and now we're running over already. So you know how it goes. You guys got to gear up for football season, you know. But we're hitting the full hour again, and we're getting back to it. But we definitely appreciate y'all. And I think that's it. We'll see you guys next week for episode 207. But until then, it's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Shrizzy.
Peace.